Onboarding, 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 onboarding. Yeah! Hi, my name is Cesare and I'm gonna talk about onboarding. Or, to be precise, just onboarding. Is it that issue with onboarding? I think this is the issue with Bitcoin, Lightning Network, and especially with Nostr. There is an issue with onboarding. People, they don't want to onboard just because something is more free or give you more abilities. So let's take a look on very short onboarding history. And what we have here is just very old computers, and there are no monitor, no mouse, no even a keyboard here. And when you look at this computer, it's not really surprising that people decided to onboard users through this, a teletype. It was a little easier to use because it used something people were already familiar with, writing. After that, people onboarded through this CRT screen. It gave you immediate feedback if you type something wrong. And my father, for example, he was a software developer and he was a master in this area. But people onboarded through this, a graphical user interface. And a lot of people didn't believe this was a step in the right direction. This was not obvious because for advanced users, clicking is slower and less comfortable than CLI. But a mouse plus a graphical interface simply made a lot of normies start using computers. Hard to say if that was optimal from a developer's point of view, but normies clearly preferred graphical interfaces. From an onboarding point of view, graphical interfaces were a breakthrough. The next breakthrough in onboarding was iPhone. And yeah, right now, everyone is using iPhone. Everyone. And when we look at this chart, we see a clear pattern, this blue line. First, this blue line, this is onboarding ease. And we have a clear pattern. Every next onboarding breakthrough was easier to use than the previous one. Easier to use. So, we have the first conclusion. If we want to onboard people on Nostr, it has to be easier. There is no other way. It has to be easier. Even easier than what we already have. But there is also a second line on this chart, the red one. It's user control. And user control basically dropped down. The peak was probably here, around the CRT era, when you could do almost everything you wanted. List, sort, filter, pipe, script, automate. But when smartphones came in and user control went down significantly. See? Yeah. To make the interface easy, they removed a lot of functionality. Look at YouTube search. Look at YouTube search. Search options are predefined. Sorting is predefined. You can't simply search for videos that are 4 years old, or you can't list all the videos you liked and forget about listing videos your friends liked. So yeah, onboarding got easier, but user control got worse. And customers, they choose onboarding. For them, onboarding is the most important over anything else, like functionality. Yeah. So, yeah, onboarding got easier, user control got worse, but isn't that exactly what we were care about? We want users to have more control over what they see and how it is presented to them. But at the same time, this cannot make the interface complicated again. That's the challenge. And the only solution I see is this. Combine gestures with voice commands. For example, here I can point here, start to say something like open this movie on TV, point to this movie, and then it understands, okay, it must to open this to TV. The same I can say share this with friends, I don't know, edit this video, anything you want. Then you don't need a lot of menus, so you have a lot of options again, because these options do not require space on the screen and they do not make it harder to use. This is what I would like you to see. It's how I interact directly with Nost, with this method of interaction. When I say something, then I can point to anything that is interesting for me, and then there are some action. Yeah. And I believe all corporations, especially AI companies, they will go in such direction. Because it's easier, so it's good to onboard people, but without Nost, they will not gonna use Nost, yeah? They will try to use this breakthrough to onboard us onto their own closed ecosystems. And the question is, will we use this breakthrough to onboard people onto open source solutions and Nost? Because if we don't move fast, people will start using these new possibilities inside closed ecosystems. One company's ecosystem or another company's ecosystem. Yeah. And that would be a huge missed opportunity. Thank you.